So I just realized it wasn't even recording. I don't know why I didn't notice that. So I kept talking and I was like, oh, not even recording. So this is the books I'll be reading for the next week's video. This will probably be the last time I check out as many as I do. A lot of reasons, I might get a job soon. I kind of would like to not have it come up like spontaneously, like, oh, we want to interview you, and go for the interview, and like that kind of thing. And also because I do want to check out less in general. I think checking out, as I said, that was the other thing. I want to start watching more, like, because I have more of an incentive to now with the new headphones I got and earbuds to like stream more TV shows and stuff and stuff like that. Finally get into those shows I kept putting off, like Invincible. But without further ado, let's get into it. First three up are movies, and I have see that behind me right there that you see right there. That is a bunch of my personal. It's my personal collection for movies, and I've been reading. I've been watching a few of those here and there, but but with the I streamed a. What are you even trying to say? Like I forgot. Like, what was the segue? I've been watching a lot of movies on there, and I might just review those too. But I don't usually do. It's not a movie review channel. This is a comic review channel with the occasional movie review. So maybe I'll do that. But dedicate a whole video to it, I don't know. But slowly but surely, I will be trying to finish all of those, and I can get a Blu-ray movie review and get all those out. Probably on the DVDs up. Yeah, we have DVDs up there too, and probably ones there too. So everything that's on my shelf. But I'm taking a bit of break from that because one movie came in earlier. It came in last week. I was gonna watch it before then, but I decided not to. So, without further ado, let's just get into it. This is Beowulf. I got the director's cut. So it was already a pretty from what I've been told, an already pretty hard PG-13 rated movie. Like it was like almost R. Like it was like one of those kind of movies that's like this is very very hard PG-13. Like it could have been R. But kind of the movies don't get nowadays. Like they like push the envelope. That's what I'm trying to say. They push the envelope with a PG-13 rating, and then they have a director's cut, which would have been R from what I could tell, would have been R if it had been the movie. Now this one you can tell is pretty old. They've had it. It's an old movie, older, like 1982. Like it was like early 2000s. But for a DVD, that's pretty damn old. And I've probably had it since the director's cut was released. I have a very finicky DVD player that I use for my laptop. It's a USB one right here. It's a USB. So I'll probably watch this one on any of the other DVD players I have, either my Xbox or the one that we have downstairs in the basement, or I'll watch this with the family. Probably not though. But Beowulf. Then I got Can You Ever Forgive Me? This is a movie that I want. This is the one that we're gonna watch movie tonight, but that didn't end up working out. But if we do before then, I would like to watch this with them because it was a really good movie. I highly recommend this one. It's probably the only Melissa McCarthy movie I like, and that's because she gives an actual performance. Then we have 20th Century Women, and I think the other one I liked about Melissa McCarthy. I didn't really like The Heat. I watched that. I finally finished that because I never got around to finishing that movie, and I finished it not too long ago. And I didn't think it was all that spectacular. Spy, I think even then I was like, that's okay. It was just okay. I want to say there's another one I liked. I can't remember. 20th Century Woman. This one I only have an interest in, partly because, well, one, it's an A24 film, right? Yep, it is. I love A24 films. And then back in this is how long it's been. Back in June, I got the comic book 20th Century Men. So I found it funny. There's a movie called 20th Century Woman. I've heard good things about this though. It was apparently up for an award, a Academy Award. It says nominee though. Now we're on to the OGNs. These are the ones that I read all at once. Getting into Sin City again. I will be. There actually is one that's an actual OGN. This one just collects like Dark Horse Presents. Those are like anthologies. There's like 5 pages at a time. So I do want to. So I will just read all at once. But I do remember this is like a very fast-paced book. Not fast-paced, but it's very investing book, and it will like It's like a book that you can't put down. It's a great example of that. But after this one, I'll begin the library editions, which are huge editions, and like they really complement to the artwork in this graphic novel series. I gotta remember which one's an OGN, but can't wait to get back into this series. And I'll finally, after I maybe even in between, I'll finally watch the 2 movies. Which, ironically enough, the second one I have on Blu-ray, first one I have on DVD. So it's not fair. But obviously, when I review the second one, I'll already watched the first one. Scott Pilgrim, Volume 5 of 6. Got one more. I really have loved coming back to this series. This, along with Walking Dead, has been such a good. I'll say it once, and I'll say it yet again. I said once before, and I'll say it yet again. This, along with Walking Dead, has been such a joy to come back to reading. It has been so long since I've read these. And I think this is only my second time reading these. Both this and Walking Dead. I know Walking Dead's only my second time. I know that for a fact. And then there is actually a Beowulf graphic novel. There's 2 of them. One from Image Comics, and this one is from... I don't even know. They cover it. The little sticker, library sticker covers where they would say. Candlewick Press. Never heard of them, but I found it super. I always knew there was at least 2 Beowulf graphic novels. So when I got the one that I read before, actually from Image Comics, I wanted to read this one again. I'm not reading this one again. I wanted to read this one for the first time and see how it compares. If I finish this one with enough time to spare, I probably will read the Beowulf, reread that one. But this is the only thing that I feel like is going to be such a pain to read through, because it's like just a bunch of text. They make up for it because you get a lot of this too. And that was the same thing with the Image Comics one too. They had a lot of this. There's a lot of just splash pages. So I guess that's the whole theme of Beowulf too, is like very minimal dialogue, which I wouldn't mind that the movie does that too. Yeah, this one looks very interesting. This is 9/11 Emergency Relief. Probably one of the only comics graphic novels they've made out of 9/11, at least that I am aware of. And this one I got only because I knew about because Michael Avon Oeming does the story in here. But the thing I don't like about this is this text is very, very small. I just tried testing it out to see if I could read it, and I can. It's still legible for me. But then you get like just a bunch of this. I hope it's not as, because yeah, I have a lot of dialogue, so I just might end up being when I don't end up finishing. I don't know. I kind of have that feeling, but I feel like it's an interesting like story, so I'm sure I will like it just fine. Let's see what the writers are. Let's check what the writers are. Let's see who. Let's check real quickly. So far, none of these I know. Will Eisner does one. When I see one that I know, I'll just say that. Ashley Wood, Phil Hester. Okay, now one that I really know. I can say, oh yeah, that guy. That's cool. Because so far, I am not seeing anything. Phil Noto, Dean Haspiel, Jeff Smith, Gail Simone, there we go. And that was it for the OGNs. Yeah, because it's 4. I usually check out 4 since Scott Pilgrim, Beowulf, and 9/11 Emergency Relief book. Now the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 are all rereads. technically subtracting 2 from that because, so those of you who know the channel, I like to check out the standard, the standard for the longest time for the library books has been to check out 25. That's the most I can do. Anything more than that, no. Anything less than that, and honestly, anything less than that, I would fill in the gap with one of my books, like one of books that I own, my personal collection. We have 2 of those because I know at least 2 of these are 4-issue miniseries, or at least have 4 issues in the series. But let's get on with it. So subtract 2 from that, so it's 19. 19 are rereads. I hate that's that much. And honestly, this being the last time, it's whatever. Ironheart. This is the digest version of the. I do like these digest versions. They're just legible enough. Yeah, it's a smaller sized book compared to your average sized graphic novel, but this is like the perfect size for a like a smaller version of the book kind of thing. I don't know why I'm saying it so awkwardly. Basically, I know that comics come in all different shapes and sizes, and some of them are really small. There's one I have called Angelic from Image Comics, and I swear to God, they just... Yeah, it was marketed towards kids. It said it's an all ages book from Image Comics, even though it's T15. And... Because they have an E for everyone. I don't know why they didn't just rate it that. I know T14 is like, oh, it's only like a few swear words, very mild swear words, like a hell, damn, and crap. And then there's one, and then there's like some minor violence, some minor bloody violence, but still. But Angelic is like it's such a small book, and the print is already small enough. So when you make it even smaller, print's super small. And there's another one I actually liked called Kinski by same publisher too, Image Comics, by Gabriel Hardman. I think that's the smallest size I've seen for a comic book. If you've ever seen the Reader's Digest, it was, I think, almost smaller than that. If you know the dimensions of a Reader's Digest. I want to say it was almost smaller than that. It was tiny. But here's Ironheart. Now this is the Bendis run. I want to reread this. I want to reread the Eve Ewing. Apparently the Eve Ewing run is pretty damn good, but first time I read the Eve Ewing run, I was kind of, if anything, I was bored with it. This one was at least fun bad. This is the, like, even people who are, I don't want to say, are borderline Marvel shills, do not like this book. Spider-Gwen, reading this series. So there's 3 criteria for why I reread a series. 1 is to give it a second chance. 2, like this, and with Ironheart, I liked it, but I mean, a different kind of like for Ironheart. Ironheart was just so bad it was good. This is just actually, it's just an actual good comic. This is like flat out good. Not so bad it's good, no, it's just a good comic. Well written comic. Whereas Ironheart was just really annoying at times, but the fun kind of annoying where like, I cannot believe this comic got made. Not that we should get more than that, but you know what I mean. I mean, if you, to put it into somewhat more vulgar terms, I'm wearing protection by getting books like Ironheart from my local library, or interloan library, by getting it for free at my library, not paying for it. So I'm not putting money into Bendis' pocket so he can fund more books like Ironheart. No, I'm getting it for free. But Spider-Gwen is just, I remember it being really good. It was a nice surprise. Spidey, freshman year. This is a Robbie Thompson book. I actually got 3 Robbie Thompson books this time around. I'll actually put them right next to one another. I mean, I can't do that because one's a reread and one isn't. Make sure I didn't. Just make sure I did that right. So I feel like I didn't. I just did that to myself. I don't know why. I'm pretty sure I did. I'm pretty sure I did it right. No, we're good. We're good. Yep, we are good. Cool. Okay. Wait, no, this... Oh, crap, this isn't a reread. Okay, so -1, so it's 18 rereads. 20 rereads total. 18 of them are the ones I'll be reading. But I'll just say 20. I don't want to confuse you all. 20. Yeah, I gotta put that in a different order now. I'm glad I saw it when I did. I think because I always... It was the first volume of that series. I wasn't 100% sure whether or not I had read it before. And as I'm still in that mode. Alright. we're good now. Avengers World. This is. I mainly got this because there's three criteria of a reread. I want to read it again. This is the one I want to read again, but also kind of sort of, because there's an author here that I liked, and I want to read more of it. I want to read more of his stuff again, and it was Sam Humphries too. That's cool. Frank Barbier, Barbie Ray was the one. He doesn't do a whole lot though, because even the first two issues he does issues 15 to 21 of Avengers World, and 15 and 16 he's still paired up with Nick Spencer. But Nick Spencer does a lot of this series. Might as well be a Nick Spencer creation if they ever did like a adaptation, if they ever did like an Avengers World adaptation. But this is my member really liking. And this one you can tell a lot of people have checked out this book because there's a little thing here, like dings. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like it's coming apart, and then because of that, it's like indented. This is what I imagine I would get if I ever got a used or good book from Amazon themselves. Because I do have a used good book, but it was from a third party seller that honestly I would love to see what their definition of used like new is. Because that must be completely immaculate. Because the used good had a few dings. Like honestly, I would say I was used very good. It was caring about stuff. Karin, not caring like K spell. It's Karin with like a K, not a C. But Karen, like it's a pun. Volume 2 of Sandman. This is one I liked the first time, and this is one of the TV shows I watched. Finally. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, Volume 4. Wanting to read more, another Brendan Montclair book, and also spit it out, and also I like the first time reading it again. This one, even though they don't have the rest of the series, I will at the very least read the first volume of Powers. Main reason why I checked this one out was because you'll see in my, if you didn't already see, I think I did do it with my comic haul video, but you'll see it in tomorrow's video. I'm going over everything I got in February. I was comparing the artwork of Michael Avon Oeming to that of Josh Howard. And a little update on that Dead at 17 book. He did say on his Twitter, it's like, oh, there's something new coming out from Dead at 17. And I thought, foolishly, it was going to be... Actually, I think I mentioned this before. I thought, foolishly, it would be a video game, or a role-playing game, like an RPG game, video game, or it would be a board game. It's a comic series, but it's a different retelling of the events of the comic I already own. So it's technically not a new story, but it's like a new interpretation of the story. It's crowdfunding, and crowdfunding is just one of those things that's very complicated. And I appreciate people trying to do that, and that's where I would go if I ever wrote a comic book. But it is very complicated. I wish it was more organized, if you will. The actual thing itself, not the people who are doing it. No, the actual like physical thing itself, the actual crowdfunding as a medium itself, not the people. Captain Marvel Volume 2 of the already rebooted series by colleagues of the comic. But so far, I've liked that. I've liked the series. The only one I didn't like was the Avengers Enemy Within, which you can't like count as Captain Marvel. Yes, it has a few issues, had the last few issues of her first ongoing by Kelly Sue DeConnick, but it's more of an Avengers book, and it was just kind of okay. Already rereading Wonder Girl. That should tell you guys how much I love this book. I just saw it, and I was like, you know what? Let's read that one again. Next time, I may just reread Flawed. I was going to this time, but there was one book. I had double checked my little notes app, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right too. I want to pick up All-Star Batman again. You guys, if you know, you know. TLDR, if you don't know, last time I checked out All-Star Batman and Robin, so I wanted by Frank Miller, so I wanted to, as a funny, check out All-Star Batman again by Scott Snyder. Also that I really enjoyed it, and also I wanted to read another one of Scott Snyder's books. Then we got Batman by Tom King, Rebirth. It's kind of funny. This is the rebirth Batman that everyone loves, and this is the one not a whole lot of people love. I think it's like more divisive. Final volume in Mark Waid's incredible run on Archie. It is again, it's a reread. This one might just be like an every 6 months. I'll check it out. You never know. We got Ghost Rider by. Oh, this isn't by Robbie Thompson. I don't know why I keep thinking it's by Robbie Thompson. I think he does the follow-up series that I never got to read, but it was like not well received because it wasn't Ghost Rider. It was more like these guys. It was kind of weird. No, it's Felipe Smith. But this one I remember really enjoying. This is one of the few new characters that I could actually say this was well worth him taking the place of Ghost Rider. And Ghost Rider I have no like emotional attachment to, so that's another thing. Keep in mind that fact. So getting a new version of Ghost Rider that takes the place of the Ghost Rider everyone loves, I wasn't too annoyed with. And I think nowadays we have the original Ghost Rider. These Marvel books always look like they're much smaller than anything. Again, your average comics. This is your average trade paperback size for comics, and this one looks like it was smaller. It's a bit smaller, but again, noticeably so. And which one was only? Oh, I know for a fact Lumberjanes is only 4 issues. Final volume and the extremely underrated 48, 49, 51, 52. And the extremely underrated Wonder Woman run by Meredith Finch is the final volume in her series. And then we got Rebirth Wonder Woman, which I might check out. Actually, I will. Well, yes, I will. I just said to myself, wait, did I just check out a Wonder Woman book? Like, nope, it's Wonder Girl, not Wonder Woman. Cal Exit. This is one of the ones I'll be reading along with another book you'll see, because there's only 3 issues. I had one too many checked out already. It was like, oops, of the ones I read one of. So something like this. This is 3 volumes, 3 issues. So I read one issue per day. That's what I do with like comics. Of the stack, I read one of each per day, and I usually make it 25. Next time I'll probably be like 15 to 10 to 15. Trying to cut it because I can manage 15. In fact, that's much easier to manage. Especially 10. Like 10 is like super easy to manage. 25 is hard to manage if I want to do anything else other than read. And I will have. This time I'll have a lot more time on my hands because the parents will be out of town, so it'll just be us kids, so a lot less time. Like, I know I won't have to, like, it's not like I'll have to help out my dad with around the house or anything like that, no. For the most part, I'll have all the time to myself, and uninterrupted time, too, because everyone else works, so at least during the daytime. So that's also an upside. But then next time I'll be like, you know what, that's it. So it's kind of like, this is kind of like the last hurrah, if you will. But yes, Cal Exit. This is one I remember liking. It's because this is a thick book for only collecting 3 issues, so it's gonna be a lot of reading. But it reminded me a lot of Post Americana when I was reading Post Americana. It's that kind of story. If you read Post Americana or you know what it's about, it's also a bit like Undiscovered Country too. That one there. And I'll pick out. Oh no. Maybe Sin City. Hellboy, Sea of Destruction. I don't know why my library didn't have it. So when I went last week with Candy Poker, I didn't see it, and I was like, oh, someone checked it out. Story of my life for the past 2 times. There's one that I finally got here that they didn't have last time I went. I was gonna get it last time I went, and that second book, so they didn't have it, and that's why. Mild spoiler if you know what it is. If you know, you know. I had to exchange it with Batman by Brian K. Vaughan. This is a Brian K. Vaughan book, and I wanted to do one of those when I was reading the books, but I had to sacrifice it for. But I had to. Sorry, I had to. Because the other book didn't come in, wasn't in my local library. Decided to hell with it. My collection. I'll pick out Brian K. Vaughan's Batman. I was trying to say Batman, because I was saying Brr. So Bah. So Batman, but they didn't have it. Like they plain didn't have it. It was weird because I know this is popular enough to where they wouldn't get rid of it, but they've been doing that recently. They just get rid of books. Like one of them, a classic actually, Captain Marvel. They didn't even have the first volume of the already rebooted series. They had the first ever volume of Kelly's to the Comics run, but I didn't have the I know for a fact they had the revamped series, at least the first volume in that series, and then a second volume of the original series. They didn't even have that. It was so I know they at least had 3 volumes of Captain Marvel at my local library, the library I go to pick up books. That library. They had the first volume of Kelly's to the Comics run, and that second volume in the revamped series, volume 1. They only had one of those. I don't know what's been going on. And I know a long time ago they did like a huge purging of the books. They got rid of like they get rid of. I can't think of it now. They got rid of. Spit it out. It's gone. It's gone. Oh, they got rid of Young Inhumans. They got rid of the only good Inhumans book that the only book that anyone likes from Inhumans, the Paul Jenkins run. It was so weird. Like back then, it made sense. Like Inhumans, yeah, no one gives a shit about Inhumans. It was very weird. But this one, yeah, another one. That's Hellboy. I did want to read because I got Hell City. I wanted to do another Hellboy book, and that's why I checked out Sin City too. Was Sin City, and also it just reminded me of those series and how much I loved them, how much I want to reread them. This one took a lot. This one is a good example of a book that took me a lot to get into. For the longest time, I wasn't the biggest fan of Hellboy. I read the first issue ever. It was the first issue that's here. And I just did not like it. Read it again for I want to say it took me 5 times, and I would say even to the 6th time I read it, and I was like, now I like it. And it gets even better as you go along. Nice little palate cleanser too. If I was reading Cal Exit right before Hellboy, that'd be a perfect palate cleanser. Doctor Strange, Jason Aaron's run, Volume 3. Yet again, just one I really liked. I want to read it again. Anyway, this is Volume 3, so I don't have to keep saying that. Now, I was alluding to this series. Finally, they had Why the Last Man. Now, when they had it, they checked out Volume 2 for me. And I was like, nope. And I was like... At first, I thought... I knew it was coming, too. So I wasn't, like, super pissed off and like, oh my god, why did they do that? Their system was wrong. Their system just, like, organized. Their system just, amalgamized Volume 1 and Volume 2 as one whole thing. So, and it didn't even say, oh, what volume exactly do you want to check out? No, it was just all that same thing. It was really weird. But then I had to check, I actually had to call them and say, no, I want Volume 1. And coincidentally enough, whoever checked out Why the Last Man at my local library right before me, checked it, put it back in. Which is nice. It's one of those books that's like, you had Why the Last Man for how long, and just now someone decides they want to read it. And right when I want to read it too. Like, it couldn't have been like in December or November. It could have been, they may have renewed it, but yeah. Now, I did check out Volume 2. So they checked it out for me by mistake, and I was like, you know what, I'll keep it on here. And even though this is a very long, it's like 10 issues per volume, I think maybe even more. I think it's 12, or is it 10? I don't know. But a lot of issues per volume. This will be next time, more than likely. So I shouldn't even show this, actually. But yeah, Volume 1. Did I count that too? I don't think I did. But I'll recount it and give you guys an updated version, updated Klaus by Grant Morrison. This is one that forever was checked out. The only library that had it is Interloan. It was Interloan 1. This one I loved. This one's a really good one. Probably my favorite Grant Morrison book. At least one of my favorite Grant Morrison books. Top 3, definitely. And this is a good jumping on point for Grant Morrison, because it's his most concise book. His most, like, easy to understand book. Because Grant Morrison is a very, like, out there writer. Does, like, kind of, like... it's a borderline of what I like for if you have a comic confusing and all over the place, do it like Grant Morrison does, where it's just so insane, but you at least you understand enough of what's going on, so you're not super confused. At least say to someone, "Oh yeah, this is what this book is about." But there was another book I was like something like Star Wars by John Ostrander. There's just so much going on, I didn't really care. And ironically enough, that was the only book of this set of books that I didn't get. And coincidentally enough, when I was on the ride home from the library, it was checked in, and it's like, oh, it's in for you now. I'm like, I don't care. I probably won't even pick it up. I'll just let it go. I'll let it expire. Because I'm planning on going on next Saturday. Because I'm doing that one of those things with my cousin where I watch a movie with him and his father. And hopefully, he said he will plan for it, but hopefully also a live stream. And he actually wants to do it this time. Like, he's the one that came up with the idea first, I mean. Usually it's me. Honestly, it was spontaneous last time, too. Book 10 of The Walking Dead. Now, you guys that didn't see the YouTube short I uploaded last minute last night did not get a review of Book 9. I had it in a complete different pile that I had the other books that I reviewed. Like an idiot, I misplaced it. I didn't realize it until it's too late. But it's no big deal because, like I said, it's Book 9. So, and nothing has changed. If you've seen any of my reviews of the Walking Dead books so far, even the ones way back in the day, nothing has changed. This is still an extremely investing book that just gets better and better. We're past issue 100, and it's still as investing, if not more investing, than when it started. And that is an incredible feat to accomplish. That is why I hold Robert Kirkman on such a high pedestal. It's because he's able to write 100 plus issues, actually almost 200 in total, of Walking Dead, and the first 100 plus are just as investing. Even after, I would say issue 150. After issue 150 is when things start to slow down. I think he said, let's say he said, I stopped my story at issue 125, but the series was so popular that I wanted to continue it for the fans. But that's where it actually ends. But it was just still, even then it was still good. It was kind of like you had a lot of slower issues, but not a whole lot happened. It was kind of repetitive. And he ended it perfectly where he did, though. I think if it was beyond 200, people would feel about the comics, but they feel about the TV show. Or it's went on for too damn long. An unpopular opinion, but I think they should wait until the series ends before they give you a TV show. And if they have to do that, like a Walking Dead is so popular and it's on like it's the highest popularity it'll ever be, and that's you want to make a TV show and it's super popular, fine, but don't like go slow with a TV show, like don't, or it's adapt. I don't know. But Walking Dead the TV show is so different as the one exception. The one I've heard that's completely different than the comics, almost completely. And what I've seen from clips so far, yeah, it's pretty damn different. There's some changes I don't mind, but then there's some that I do. But anyways, so this is one of the books that I own in my personal collection that I just fill in the gap because there's 2 4-issue miniseries. So it's like, you know what, let's fill in the gap with those 2 comics and pick 2 from my personal collection, and I will finally, for the first time ever, be reading Batman Year One. I kept putting it off, doing it once and for all. I think oddly enough, this is actually 4 issues too. Let's see. 4, 7, yes. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, it is 4 issues. But I think they're pretty long issues too, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. No, not that long. And then the other book that is in my personal collection, I'll be reading for the first time. And also one I'll be reading for the first time. Oh yeah, After Walking Dead. So as of these 2, we're now into the reading them for the first time. This is Symbiote Spider-Man. Again, my personal collection, filling the gap with 2 of them. Symbiote Spider-Man. If there's 3, there's 3. Usually if there's 3, I usually only do 2 of my personal collection, up to 2. If there's 3, I'll read like 2 of Walking Dead per day, because that's a lot of book. Lumberjanes, Volume 4. And also 4 issues of that series. Each volume is kind of funny. Volume 4, it's kind of ironic. It sounds stupid the way I'm saying it, though. Gwenpool. I really liked her appearances in Spit It Out. What's the series called? In West Coast Avengers. I liked her appearances in West Coast Avengers by Kelly Thompson. I didn't find her to be annoying at all. Slightly in some points, but not annoying at all. And then in the first volume of Kelly Thompson's run, they gave you the first issue of this series. I really dug it, so I'll be reading this one. And I've heard super stutter. I have heard good things about at least the first series. I've heard good things about it, and then got rebooted. And everyone hated the reboot. I think it's by the same writer too. It's even funnier. Silk is one of those books that, first of all, I kept putting off, and second of all, I've not heard the best things about it. But it's by Robbie Thompson, so. And she was in. The only reason why I remember this book at all was because she was featured in the Deadpool Spider-Man book by the same writer, Robbie Thompson. But this is one of those weird volume zeros. I believe this is volume 0 at least. Yep. Volume 0. And usually they have like a mini series, or they they have Spider-Man Deadpool Volume 0, and it has all the appearances of all the crossovers before the official crossover series. So it was kind of like a prelude, if anything. I think this is the prelude to when she appears in and that too, Spider-Women, and then in God, spit it out, Spider-Verse. Yeah, Silk. Actually, I want to check something. Yeah, $20. They give you one more issue than you usually get for a comic. It's usually I would say 5 to 6. But one more than the average, seven issues, and charge you $19.99 for it. Marvel does. I've always found that so fun about Marvel's pricing. Like one extra issue, jack up that price. And honestly, that was back in days when, let's see, when this trade come out, when like a 6-issue series would be $15.99. Yeah, I want to say it was when. It was still when it happened. I mean, I got it for free, so why am I complaining? I know, but still. The last volume of Spider-Man Deadpool. It might be enough I put the two Robbie Thompson books back to back. Kind of funny. Kind of funny. I didn't even do that on purpose at all. We got a final volume in Spider-Man Deadpool. I am already sad to see the series go, and I haven't even started this issue yet. I started this volume yet. And I'm reading it for the first time too. So far, the first 8 volumes of Spider-Man Deadpool have been incredible, especially the volumes written by Robbie Thompson. The first ever volume by Joe Kelly, and a bunch of other people, and it's like really weird. They only collected like the issues that were written by this guy, and only the story. They would do like issues 1 through 3, then issues 5 to 7. It was really weird printing of the book. But that was the way the comics released. They would have story arcs. Story arc 1 would be issues 1 through 3, and then 5 through 7, and then story arc 2 would be issues 4, and then 8 through 9, and then but those ones, like the one by Joe Kelly, was just okay. And got even better and made up for it as the next volumes came out. This one is one I did not think I would get because it was the Interloan Library, was a school library. And it's always like a high school library. It's always a 50-50. That library will even interloan. And that is, even though it's on the interloan website, and it's on, so we have two, I'll say it again, I'll mention it again, just in case this is your first video of mine. They have 2 places where you can interloan books in my area, and the first one is when we had forever, and that one's terrible. It's a 50-50 chance they'll even have it. Sometimes they'll say they have a book, that a library has it, but it'll come up as not available, and then they'll resubmit it because it's someone else that does that kind of stuff. And the other person will resubmit it, and then it will go through. I'm hoping that happens to one of the books I put in. And then what will also happen is they'll say, like, a high school library, they'll even have, like, libraries that don't interloan. They'll have those libraries on their system. It's really strange. And then they have another system, System B, that was much better. System B is like their new system, and only a few times has there been a book that it was only because that library just lost a copy. I put in the book, say, nope, we don't have it, sorry, even though it shows that they have it on the system. I think they get rid of it too. Like, you can get rid of books, like, okay, we don't have this book anymore, get rid of it. I did that a couple times. There's a Superman book they still say they have, but I know for a fact they don't. Unless they got a new copy, which I might just do that again. Try it one more time, but I don't know. But Robin, Son of Batman Volume 2. I believe of 2. This next one was one of those books that I put in. If no other library has a book, they have a system in a local library where you can put in a book, and then if it's new enough, it's a new release, and it follows their criteria, they will get it for you. And this is one of the last ones I put in. I have one more, and that's still active. They're still processing it. It just came in, so it's gonna be for about a month. But I can finally read Batman Fortress. This is Gary Whitta and Derek Robertson's Batman book, and it was hugely controversial back in the day. At the very least, we have good artwork, but people did not like one of the things that happens in the first issue. Something that's very understandable. I wouldn't have liked that either, but it's one of those things that's like, if that's the only criticism you have about that series, then I don't care enough. You know, it's not that big a deal for me. Yeah, I don't like it either, but I'll still give it its fair shot. But time will tell, but I actually like this book. I'm very excited to read this book. It's one of those books that I want to see what all the fuss is about. That's the other reason. So the reasons why I'll read a book is one, because of it's like good, got reviews, like with. I want to go by the ones that aren't rereads, like Batman Year One, or like Lumberjanes is really well received, or Spider-Man Deadpool is really well received, or or its next volume in the series I really liked, like Lumberjanes, or it's just so controversial I want to check it out myself, like Batman Fortress. And last but certainly not the least is Batman One Dark Knight. One of these. So this is the format I like to read comics in. If it has to be a different format, this is the only different format I will accept. This and Walking Dead, kind of like the deluxe edition omnibuses. I guess you could count that, but I mean, like, when it goes wider screen, like this wider rather than height. If it has to be wider like this is as good as I want. I guess it's fine to read, but like widescreen comics, like landscape, I hate that way of reading comics. It's just so irritating to read it that way. Yes, finally gonna read this series. Now, I did have, I'll see if I can get it right now. I did have the first issue of the series, never picked it up, never even thought, like, almost a year, I would say like years later, never even thought to pick it up to see if any entry-level libraries had it. I don't know if I checked it, I don't know what, because like, I would have seen it, you would think, and like, oh, there it is. Oh, it's in the other thing. It's not here. No, it's not. Okay. Never mind then. Great what I said. But like with Wonder Woman Historia, I do own the first issue, but I never picked up the next 2 issues of that 3-issue miniseries. I don't know why I never thought to look it up at my library until just recently. There was another one I put in because I looked up DC Black Label, and it was the System B, so System B was the superior system, and thus knew what I was talking about. And then Riddler Year 1 is one that's just too new for my library to intro loan. It's showing up as active so far, so it'll be either next week, could be next week, could be next month, could be the next few months. But that, as they say, is that. Yeah, already 44 minutes in. 44 minutes went over a few books and not even reviewing any of them. That, as I say, is that.